I'm Van Sebastian here with my co-host S.A. Baz Collins for this week's Written on the Edge, Season 8, Episode 38, Friday interview. We'll be talking with MariNaomi and talking about their book, I Thought You Loved Me. So, let's get to know our guest. MariNaomi is the award-winning author and illustrator of almost 10 books. Their work has appeared in nearly 100 print publications and has been featured on websites such as The New Yorker's Daily Shouts, The Washington Post, LA Times, The Rumpus, LA Review of Books, Midnight Breakfast, San Francisco Examiner, and BuzzFeed. Their comics have been translated into French, German, and Russian. MariNaomi's comics and paintings have been featured in the Smithsonian, the De Young Museum, the Cartoon Art Museum, and the Asian Art Museum, as well as the Japanese American National Museum. In 2011 and 2018, Mari toured with the literary roadshow Sister Spit. They are the founder and administrator of the Cartoonists of Color Database, the Queer Cartoonists Database, and the Disabled Cartoonists Database. They have taught classes for the California College of Arts Comics MFA program and was a guest editor for Penn Illustrated. They were co-host of the Ask Bi Grlz podcast and with author Myriam Gurba. MariNaomi lives in San Francisco Bay Area with their partner and a menagerie of beloved rescue animals. MariNaomi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Nice to be here.
And kudos on all of the accomplishments. Holy cow.
Yeah, I want to know how you got translated into Russian for
So random. Everything that on that list is completely randomness. All
serendipity of life. Okay.
So kind of just right place, right time. It fell into your lap and you're like, I'm going to run with that. Yes.
I feel like everything that I've ever pursued, I've been rejected for, but like everything that I've accomplished just fell in my lap. So I don't even try anymore.
Oh no. So prior to all of that list of accomplishment, you had the urge to create. Where did that passion come from? What started it?
You know, I've thought about this a lot. I wanted to be a novelist since I was a very little child, probably before I could even read. I'm
Wow.
guessing my dad being an aspiring novelist has something to do with it, and watching reruns of Murder, She Wrote probably had something to do with it.
I'm not Jessica Fletcher.
I mean, doesn't that seem like a great life? Just solving mysteries and typing on a typewriter.
Do you have a
I don't know
typewriter?
about the typewriter part, having come from that generation.
I love typewriters. Yeah, I do have typewriters.
Awesome.
At one point I was collecting a bunch of antique ones, but I think I only have one left. But I just got this wonderful new keyboard for my iPad that
yes, I've seen those.
Oh, very cool.
It feels so good. I've been really productive ever since I got it. Just like the clicking. Oh, it feels amazing.
Very nice. All right. Well, we're here to talk about your graphic memoir, I Thought You Loved Me. Do you have a copy you can show off?
I do.
Woohoo. And mostly, look at that. Ooh, very nice. All right, so as I was reading about it, I saw it combined prose, illustration, collage, comics, and old letters.
Mm-hmm.
Can you help explain the words and the feast for the senses that is this novel?
Well, so all of my other books, so this is, I believe, my 9th book. All the other books are more traditional comics. I do have one book that's a book of gag comics, which is sexy fruits and vegetables. But for the most part, I've got the young adult trilogy graphic novel and a bunch of memoirs, and they're all done in just pretty straightforward comicsy ways. I've always loved doing other things like painting and collage and non-comics. And comics are just, as I said, randomly took off, whereas all the other things kind of, I mean, it goes like this, like it ebbs and flows. But for some reason, comics is what caught, and so I just go with it. But like collage, I love doing collage. It's a pain in the butt to do collage though, because you can't use other people's images. So, I mean, if you're going to put it out in the world, you know, you can, obviously, if you're just doing it for fun. But, you know, you want to be careful about using your own work. I also love photography. I'm not super good at it, but like I'm okay, hobbyist. And when I got this iPad, which I'm not an Apple person, but I got this iPad and I started using Procreate, and I realized immediately that how accessible collage suddenly was, how I can use a lot of my own picture, like photographs, and turn them into collage and do cutouts or whatever. And I feel like I was just waiting for it to become accessible, and that's and as soon as it was, then I was just playing with it, and that's how this book came about, was just me playing with Procreate and just I mean, as far as visually, that's how it came about. Psychologically, the book, which is about friendship, and more specifically me trying to get over an old friendship that didn't that from I think I was friends with her from age 14 to almost 30, and I just turned 50, and it's taken a long time for me to just come to terms with it, and by the time I was in my 40s, I still hadn't gotten over it, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to be over this. This sucks, but it ended in my 20s. Like, come on, get over it. And so I thought maybe I'll just make art about it and see how that feels, and I did, and it ended up not doing exactly what I thought it would be. I don't feel like art specific, like when you're doing memoir art, it's not necessarily cathartic in the ways that other kinds of art can be. In fact, it kind of makes you crazier sometimes. And but I think it turned into an interesting book. It's very voyeuristic. I've been told, there's a very scrapbooky vibe about it with all the letters and stuff. I've never been a scrapbooker, so I'm just gonna have to take people's word for it.
Well, at least you're doing it in an era now where we can do it all digitally and you don't get the paste on your fingers. And
oh my gosh, well, I've done a lot of collage that ended up with me ruining lots of clothes. So I'm no stranger to that. In fact, one of the images in this book, the way I actually started out this book inspirationally, was from this image, which was, oh gosh, where is it? It's a collage of me. It's a life-size collage of me and my cat, and it's double-sided. It was like 5 foot by 3 foot front and back collage that it took years to make, and it's included in the book, and there was a lot of glue involved in that. That image, unfortunately, that art piece, it was going to a gallery and it got destroyed before it ever hit the show floor. And it was just one of the great losses of my artistic career. Just so I still, it hurts me so much.
Well, now it's at least memorialized in the book. Yeah.
And a lot of the images in the book were inspired by things that I came up with in the process of making that collage, which I think I finished that in 2005. So it's quite old, but it's still with me as much as it can be. So that's what was behind the collage, and also it was really helpful. So when I decided I wanted to get over this friendship, I realized that I didn't really remember a lot of the friendship, even though it still affected me quite deeply emotionally. I couldn't remember, like, why were we friends? Like, it doesn't seem like we had a lot in common. Like, but we were such close friends. But I only remember the bad stuff. I only remembered the betrayals and just not getting along and not particularly liking her at the moments that I didn't particularly like her. So so why would I miss her so much if I could only remember the bad stuff? And I started digging into diaries and old letters to try to bring back those memories and try to work through them,
to balance it out.
Yeah, well, so that I was trying to trigger my memory, because I'm not going to get over it if I can't even remember it. Like, I just remember it's weird, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm going through it, and I wanted the reader to see this also, like, see what I was going through. So I put pictures. I didn't put pictures of her, but like of our letters back and forth, mostly hers, because I don't really have the letters I sent. and just all the things that I was going through. So I was leading the reader through my process of trying to get over her, and it was definitely an adventure making the book, and hopefully reading the book is too.
So this one follows a theme in your life. A lot of people who write memoirs write them from time period to time period. Do your other memoirs also follow specific themes?
My first memoir is called Kiss and Tell, and that was published in 2011 by Harper Perennial. And that was mostly about my sex life from ages 0 to 22. The next book that I wrote, not the next one that was published, but the next one that I was done with was called Turning Japanese, which just got re-released by Oni Press this year.
Oh, nice.
And that was more of a traditional narrative that about me trying to connect with my Japanese heritage. And the way I decided to do so was to work in Japanese hostess bars and then travel to, I was very young.
I was to say that was kind of random.
At the time, I was kind of pissed that my mom never taught me Japanese, and that her side of the family doesn't speak English. So I was always using her as a translator whenever I spoke to that part of my family. And I swear she would just edit out parts of my personality that she thought were unsavory, which is a lot. See book 1, Kiss and Tell. And I wanted to get to know that side of my family, and I wanted to get to know that part of my culture, because as one of the few Asian people that I'd grown up around, like I grew up mostly around white people and some Black people, but like mostly white people. I just never felt connected to that side of me, but I also felt never quite included into white culture or whatever you call it. So I just always felt like maybe Japan is where I'll feel more accepted. And that's not how it went.
Oh.
Even as I was doing it, I thought, well, if this doesn't turn out well, then maybe it'll make a good book someday. And hopefully it did. So yeah, there were themes for that. The next book that I had was called Dragon's Breath and Other True Stories, which didn't have quite so much of a theme. When I tried to think of what the theme was, I think compassion, because all the stories are me trying to kind of dig deep, find compassion for myself and others. That book surprisingly was nominated for an Eisner. It didn't win.
Congratulations, though.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's not something that I ever thought or wanted to happen. But it was nice to be recognized, as much as I don't like awards in theory.
Yeah, but still, congratulations, especially when you're not looking for it and you get it, at least the nomination. That's awesome.
Again, it's like these things
serendipity.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been pursuing an Ignatz Award nomination my whole career for 26 years, and I've never gotten it. But then I get an Eisner nomination, which is like a high, like I think it's I don't know. I mean, I don't want to compare, because that's what awards do.
Yeah, right. Fair.
It's not cool. Anyway,
so, in addition to memoir, you also write graphic novels. Are they specifically all YA, or is that just a couple of them?
I did a graphic novel trilogy, and it was YA.
Okay.
That was sort of an experiment. I started out writing novels. I never published them, thank goodness. But I have a long, like that's my true passion, original passion, I should say, was writing novels. So I thought, well, I'll give this a shot. I never read YA as a kid. Like the company that wanted me to pitch them a YA novel, they sent me a box of YA novels. Like I was in my 30s. I'm like, sure, I'll read some YA. I'm like, sure, I can do this. Yeah, that's how that came about. But it was really fun. Like, it's super fun writing fiction. In fact, I have another book coming out with Little Brown, and where I'm the writer, and there's an illustrator, Trung Le Nguyen is illustrating it.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Technically middle grade, I think, but
okay. Yeah, Little Brown tends to skew a little younger, so. All right. Any of your other works you want to highlight?
Well, I want to ask you a question. You know, being a graphic artist and putting those things together, what are your thoughts about this whole AI thing? I mean, do you, as a traditional graphic artist, feel like in all of your books you now have to put your name and then put it, say not done with AI? I mean, are graphic artists starting to feel that push of saying, "Hey, I did all of this," kind of thing? Because I think that's where we are in some cases.
I feel like I'm primarily a storyteller. I don't think my art skills are particularly strong. I mean, if I try really hard, I can draw something and it comes out halfway decent, but that's because I've been doing it for a very long time. But it doesn't come naturally to me. So I'm not really afraid of anyone ripping off my crappy style, honestly. And I do see it to some people. I just not particularly to me.
I think even as authors, though, we have to think about it because Chat GPT and there's all these things that
it's so dumb.
I know, but the thing is, it's opened a floodgate that now we, as traditional artists and novelists and writers, we all have to contend with it. It's not something we asked for. Yeah. But now it's been thrown our direction, and it's like, holy fuck, people, back off.
Creepy. I mean, I didn't like it when they revived old dead celebrities and had them dance in holograms. Like, I thought, wow,
that was weird.
It's like spitting on someone's grave.
It's all necromancy,
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, it's very non-consensual and creepy. We've been doing this stuff for a long time. I don't know, I feel like it's going to sort itself out. It's maybe not in a good way. I don't know, like I don't really feel like I have any control over it, so I don't worry about it too much. I do hope that I can somehow use it in my favor eventually. Like, I would love a personal assistant to do my PR for me. I would love
there you go.
I would, but it's something I can't afford. But like, oh my gosh, like we're halfway there with like, I don't know,
Chat GPT or one of the others. That can write stuff. I know. Yeah.
Answer my interview questions for me. I mean,
right. Have an avatar. One day you've got cat ears.
So much of my job, I feel like, is just answering the same questions over and over again, and like posting things to the internet, and like, oh god, like surely a AI something could do that for me. What I would really love is to be able to feed in my artwork and into like an AI thing, and then have it just animate it for me. Like, I would love to do that.
It's there. It's there.
Animation. I've heard that. I don't think it's there yet, because honestly, like everything that the computer does, it does wrong. But like someday I would love, like, because I have animated before and it sucks. It's such a time suck. It's so hard.
It is. Mm-hmm.
And I would love a program to just solve that all for me and just do the magic, because I hate it. Or thumbnails for me. Like, just do the thumbnails for me. Like all the parts that I just feel like are slogging, and just honestly, all I want to do is collage all day anymore anyway.
Nice. All right. Well, I feel for time reasons, we need to move on to our get to know you questions. Before we do, was there another one of your works you wanted to highlight, though? I didn't want to cut that off.
Let's see. I got Turning Japanese. So the Losing the Girl, the Life on Earth Young Adult series. I suppose I should mention that the first book in that got banned in Texas, but I guess that's not really very unique anymore, since like
welcome
every
to the
book's
club
banned now. Thank you.
I know. That's an okay club to be in,
Yeah.
Oh god, it's so annoying though. It's so.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Someone just asked me to write like a comic or an essay about being a banned author, and I'm like, sure, I'll do it. And I've been trying over the last few days, and it just bums me out. I'm like, how much more can I say about this other than this sucks? This sucks. These people suck. They're wasting our time.
I mean, obviously you have to do it in your voice, but I would start from a censorship standpoint.
This sucks.
Yeah.
There's the title.
Yeah. Ironically, the banning of that book essentially revived my career, which was kind of flagging at that time, probably because of pandemic reasons and other reasons, who knows. But I blame the pandemic. But like after that happened, suddenly all my books were back in print. So I'm like, okay, thanks, Texas. I hate you. I'm from Texas. I get to say that.
Oh, fair. All right. All
yeah.
right. So, do you have anything upcoming you want to announce? Any appearances or showings for your art?
I'm going to be a featured guest at SPX on September 9 and 10.
Nice.
Which will be right after this comes out. And then I have a bunch of local things. But I'm very excited about on Friday the 8th, I'm going to do a reading at People's Book in Tacoma Park in Washington with Keith Knight.
Cool.
Yeah, he's very cool. He was the guy behind the Woke Hulu series, which was just absolutely hilarious. He has a new book called I Was a Michael Jackson Teen Impersonator, and it's hilarious. We're going to talk about memoir. I know. It's so good. So that's what I'm really excited about.
Nice. So where's the best place for people to keep up with your list of things that are coming up?
MariNaomi.com. I'm on most of the socials, except not Twitter, RIP. I refuse to call it by the new name.
Yeah, same. Girl, same.
Like I said, everybody knows what the Sears Tower in Chicago, but it hasn't been called that in 20 years on paper. So I'm going to continue to call that platform Twitter as well as my little, this is how we know it.
And you know, news people are saying Twitter. They don't, nobody's buying it. Just stop.
Well, and you know, between space and the social platform, he's 1x away from porn. So we're not going there.
Yeah.
Good point. Wow. Look at that.
Sometimes it takes a boy from the Midwest to figure these things out.
Well, it's celeb porn. That's what it is. He just wants the notice. He wants me.
I know.
Enough about me. What do you think of me? You know, kind of thing.
Anyway, MariNaomi, any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
I don't let your babies grow up to be cartoonists.
Oh.
That's all.
All right. We'd like to extend a huge thank you to MariNaomi.
Yeah,
there we go. Follow your dreams.
There you go.
Dreams. Get used to rejection. Cry.
Yeah, but along with that, welcome the wins that fall in your lap out of nowhere.
I mean, that's the thing about life. You just never know where it's going to go.
Right.
I roll with it.
Right. All right, MariNaomi, thank you for joining us today. Thank you so much for putting your work out into the world.
Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. All right, we at Written on the Edge are proud to introduce you to new media by queer content creators. So if you enjoy learning about new artists or hearing our thoughts on entertainment media, please like and subscribe so you get the alerts for new episodes. The show is produced by Rogue Ravens Media. For our disclaimers, links to social media, our listen stations, or to sign up as a guest, visit www.rotepodcast.com. Tune in next week for your queer media fix.
Bye-bye now.
What's that? Closing time. The bums rush in melody, dear.